Anakin's actor Hayden Christensen, I like how it took me a pause. Actor Hayden Christensen says Rogue One captured the essence of what Star Wars is meant to be, and he loves how they portrayed Darth Vader. I'll wait for Theory's reaction, as Vader's very near and dear to him. And he's also a big Rogue One fan. Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, is a big fan of Rogue One. I'm going to jump this crap. In Fan Expo Boston, he said, I was always a big Empire Strikes Back fan, who isn't? And from some of the more recent films, I loved Rogue One. I thought that for me, really kind of captured the essence of what Star Wars is meant to be. And I loved how they portrayed Darth Vader in that film too, but there's more. There are so many different people that have contributed to this character, and I'm just one of them, he added, and I love what they did, which is incredibly humble. But we're going to two-step this. So how do you guys feel about this first before I end the article?
Yeah, I mean, I think of all the stuff Disney has done, I think Rogue One and Mando season 1 and 2 are the best things that they have to date. I think Rogue One, in my opinion, as much as I love Mando, I feel like Rogue One is just probably the best that the best thing they've done.
Yeah, I maintain that if Vader didn't show up at the end there, Rogue One would be mentioned at the same breath as Solo. It's Vader showing at the end that gives everyone that positive interaction. Yeah, it's the best thing they've ever done, but Vader showing up is what is that, yeah.
I didn't care about Vader. Oh. I thought it was a chaotic D&D party kind of thing, and they got the pacing right, and they got the look and feel, like that intangible feel of like a new like OG Star Wars. They somehow pulled it off really well with a stellar cast and crew, and writing was on point. It was just kinetic. I was going to say frenetic, and Krennic, Ben Mendelsohn. Absolutely. I loved the tension between him and Tarkin. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like they made a bunch of new characters and didn't have to. They did justice to the others. The only thing that really pissed me off, obviously, was that Kyle Katarn seemed to get curb stomped. Yeah,
I know. That's why I was angry the whole time.
I was very angry. I was like, don't kill Katarn just to make Spanish Katarn, please.
The best they've done.
Yeah. But no, you're right. The pacing was great. Acting was great. It flowed really well. But Vader at the end was really the nice icing on the cake there, for sure. Is
that what you think of? Is it, like what snaps to mind when you think of Rogue One? You think like the Vader saber porn? Yep. There's a resounding yes.
It's the fear of what an actual Force wielder would be to non-Force users. I think like by virtue of Order 66, Jedi end up looking kind of almost weak in comparison, but like Rogue One sort of captured no. An average Force user knowing the Force would be a threat. Vader against a bunch of like rebel troops, it's absolutely terrifying the way he's like throwing them up. I love the use of powers. That's expanded universe level of like.
Oh yeah, that was like
we don't
Jedi Outcast. If you're running through a hallway and you're just absolutely blitzing, I've never thought I would see something as frantic, and fast paced. No, that's lovely. For me, it's Saw Gerrera, like showing echoes of Vader.
You like
that? I love Saw. I love Forrest Whitaker, dude. He was so good. Buckle it, and he's just like, you come to kill me, and I'm like, yes. He's so nuts. Like I love he's not one-dimensional. He's a good guy working for the rebels ostensibly, but the wrinkle in his character that gives him layers is that he's a fucking terrorist.
He's an extremist.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see a bad guy that has some good and a good guy that has bad, and level and layers. And I just
get the message. He's the rebels Vader, basically, where he starts off unharmed, right, and he becomes a more machine than man towards the end when he's blown up on Jedha.
I loved it. I loved that. Yeah, when he's blown up though, and he sees his death coming, and he's all stoic, holding his little stick or whatever he's holding.
I always thought he was relieved to have it be over finally. The endless
he has that
struggle.
Moment of fear before that tsunami hits him, and I'm like, yes, that's even that, like, it's not cowardly, but that, oh fuck, I'm gonna die, that everybody would have. I loved it. I was like, fuck, they've humanized him. I just feel sometimes when you go too heavy into Star Wars, you can make characters one-dimensional, and I don't love that.
Boggle it.
Hayden's favorite movie that wasn't the prequels was Empire, and that his favorite Disney movie was Rogue One.
Yeah, I saw that.
Standard.
Bro, could you imagine if he said Acolyte or something? I'd be like, Hayden.
Oh my god, bro,
what do you?
I like the ideas it did with the Force. No, he knows. He's good.
All right, so there's a second part to this article. The 1-2 punch. Vader is a small part of Rogue One, appearing briefly to talk to director Krennic, and then again to cut through the rebels in the famous hallway scene. While Krennic and Cassian Andor both appeared again in Andor, Vader didn't show up, obviously, in Andor. No, that was never my agenda, they've tacked on. Andor creator Tony Gilroy said of including the Sith Lord, writing for Darth Vader is really limiting. I've done it. He doesn't have a lot to say. How do you feel about that?
He doesn't always
like Tony
have to
Gilroy
say
going, I don't
shit
want to work with Vader. Yeah,
Well,
he doesn't have to say a word. I mean, fuck me. Look, I know he says some stuff, but look at him in Jedi Survivor, whatever the first one was, when he shows up. Like when Vader shows up, as long as it's done right, you know, Rebels, they kind of diluted him a little bit. He'll show up again and again. But like Vader is a force. Like, I don't know. I'm amazed that Gilroy said that because Vader is like.
I'm not surprised that he would say that of all people.
I knew you. That's why I wanted to read it. It's like theory. Yeah. He's gonna.
Vader, you can do the most with Vader than any other character in Star Wars. It's what he doesn't say that makes it interesting. But because it's so easy. It's just the way he turns and looks at someone. It's the camera angle. You can portray Vader in so many different ways with that mask that it's as if he has like all these expressions going on, but you just have to know how to shoot him and how he moves. That's it. And I wouldn't expect Tony Gilroy to understand that because he just likes to throw dialogue at literally every freaking scene or throw Mon Mothma into some dancing weirdo fucking motif. So
but also look at Vader in A New Hope. He's a chatty, sassy bitch. He has a lot of dialogue. Like George clearly must have decided to regress his dialogue in the further ones where he's a little more. But like the first one, he talks a lot. He's quite like there's a way to do it, and it just depends on who he's talking to. The higher up the chain you go, I think the more he has to say, like a Tarkin or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's so much you could do with Vader. There's a ton, and
then just body language.
You just have to know how. Yeah, you got to know how his body moves. Yeah, exactly. His cadence, the way he speaks, everything. That's it.
I'm amazed that dude in A New Hope was just like, nah. Get out of here, Vader. No believes in his sorcery and his sad fucking religion. And he's like, oh, okay.
Maybe he hadn't heard the rumor that he just like routinely choked people out or that.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? If you knew anything, why would you shit talk Vader in a small confined space? I'll be doing it from another start. Even then, you're not safe. So we yell, fuck you, Vader, running.
Or
They're like blasting
he dismissed it. And like this is the first time they've actually come face to face, and he doesn't actually think it'll happen until it does.
Yeah. He's protected because he's got his homies. He's been drinking. Maybe they had like a work function before and he was sourced up. And he's like, I'm going to tell him what I think. And they're like, no, you won't. He's like, watch this.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be really careful where you put Vader too. You can't overuse the guy because he takes over every scene that he's in. So, you know, even if you were to do, like, let's say for episode 2 and 3 and 1 even, it's kind of, you have to portray him in so many different angles, camera angles, to show that emotion because there's no face, right? But if you do it in different ways,
comic and they, you know how they move the mask so it looks like it's frowning, it looks like it's smart. I love that shit. Yeah,
but there's just so much you could do, like with the angles, with his tone of voice, how he moves, how he looks, his head. His head can move like super fast, or it can move slow, and you can just kind of read all the expressions on his expressionless face. But you just got to know how to do it.
It's almost like you've been staring at Vader for years.
It's almost like I've been killing myself to make this goddamn fan film for 8 years.
We appreciate your sacrifice.
Vader has plenty to say. It just depends on what the topic and timing and people around him are.
Yeah.
Hardly misinterpreting what Gilroy's saying.